This is the Everyday Christian Podcast, where Sunday's message meets Monday's life. You present it in kind of like an exciting way, like, God, I'm really ready for you just to mess things up right now.
When people get to a place where they're bored, they are ready for God to mess things up.
Is anxiety reduced and confidence gained by doing? You said it is. Anxiety seems like it goes up.
It's the same way when you've neglected cleaning your room for a while. When you start to clean your room, it gets way messier before it gets better. You have to do it. You have to put in the reps. You cannot get the muscles without putting in the reps. You actually have to stop and do the work.
Let's take a deeper dive into the sermon and see what it means for our everyday life.
To approach the Bible with humility is to approach the Bible saying, all right, God, I am ready for you to mess things up in my life. I'm ready for you to tell me to do some things or to stop doing some things. I'm ready to hear and I'm ready to do.
You present it in kind of like an exciting way, like, God, I'm really ready for you just to mess things up right now. How does that look practically? Because that feels terrifying.
It can be terrifying. Like when people get to a place where they're bored in life, they are ready for God to mess things up. What they don't usually know is how much God will shake things up. Like one of my friends growing up in the church I went to was going to be a lifeguard. And he's like, hey, you should be a lifeguard with me. You're in good shape. You play basketball. I did not know how to swim. But I just had this idea of like, that would be so fun to actually work with my friend from church. And so I show up for the training and I did not know how much God was going to mess up like everything. Like I had to learn how to swim, how to teach kids how to swim, how to do it while parents are like judging you at all times. You have to have the kids have fun and learn how to swim all at the same time. And I was an extreme introvert. So I did not know how much me just saying, yeah, I want to be a lifeguard with you. I had no idea how God was going to shake things up in my life. But I look back now and I'm like, I'm so glad that God sent my friend over and said, you should be a lifeguard with me. So I do know that it can be very scary to ask God to shake things up, but it's always worth it. If God is the one shaking things up, it is always worth it. I know that from experience.
You kind of frame it as like a call to adventure. And does it seem like a call to adventure to you now?
It is. Because of past experience, I get excited, but I also feel weight too, because I know that you're not in control. You're basically asking God, go ahead and lead me. And he can lead you wherever he wants. So that's exciting and it's a little scary too.
That smile is kind of like a little bit of be careful what you wish for sort of a thing. But you are also realizing the joy in it.
Yes, because at the end of the journey, even though I would not have said, yeah, let's go in that direction, I'm so glad he led me in that direction. And he leads you through your fears. He leads you through the valley of the shadow of death. He doesn't go around, he helps you through it. And it's scary, but once you're on the other side, you're like, wow, I am so grateful. Like what I learned, what was accomplished by getting to the other side is worth the journey. So yeah, it's exciting for him to call you and terrifying at the same time.
I want to play a clip about note takers.
Consuming books, podcasts, and lectures, but never implementing the ideas. Has anyone ever been guilty of that? Like, oh, that was an amazing podcast, full of great ideas. I should do, but I'm probably never going to do them, right? Taking notes, but never revisiting or acting on them. Feeling informed, but making no real changes. And that one can really deceive us. Did you see how many notes I took down? But have you implemented? Have you put them into action yet? No, but look at that journal. It just has so many notes. It's like, yeah, but did you do anything with it, right?
So I've been to lectures and conferences where you always have a notebook, and so you are a note taker. What tips might you offer to fellow note takers to transfer it from the page to real life?
Yeah. So I take notes all the time because one, it just helps me to remember what I'm hearing better. Like if I'm just sitting there, I'm not like moving my hand, and it's in the moving of my hand and writing down like key words and phrases and ideas that have hit me that just helps it to get in more. But when I take notes, like I don't take notes just for the sake of taking notes. I'm taking notes on things I actually want to accomplish in the future. Like the reason why I'm writing something down is because I believe what I'm writing down in this moment is going to impact a future moment, like that I'm planning. So note taking is really about your heart already wanting to do whatever you're writing down. It's not like you're like, I'll just write this down and I'm not really using my mind and heart. My soul's not in this, but maybe in the future I'll come back and look at it. It's like, no, this is like my to-do list. And I even put on the actionable steps, I put a little box. And if I haven't gone back and actually filled that box in, it means I haven't done it yet. So you'll see my notes with a lot of little squares. There's a lot of squares that have been filled in. There's some squares that have not been filled in, but it just shows that my mindset is I got to do this. And that little box that's empty is reminding me like, oh, you haven't done that yet. So that's something you need to do if you're still planning on doing that.
Okay, so you use check boxes a lot of times in your notes, and you go back to your notes. How do you remember to go back to your notes? Because I shut my notebook and I never look at it again a lot of times.
I have my notebook with me everywhere I go, and when I fill up one, I buy a new one. But by the time I buy a new one, I've already gone back, because like when I open it, I see what I've put in before. I can see how many boxes I still need to check off, or how many I've already filled up. So that helps me. And I take it everywhere I go. Like every day I'm writing notes in it to remind me. And sometimes I'll write the exact same note because I haven't done it yet. So you'll see me put in, you need to do this painting. And then if you look for the last 7 days, I've said I needed to do this painting, but I want it fresh. I want it right there. So when I open it up, I see, okay, that's what I'm working on.
How do you incorporate, I know this is a little bit off topic, but how do you incorporate notes in your prayer life? I know you do a little bit of that.
This is just my own personal thing that I do. I do not tell people this is how you're supposed to do it. But when I pray, in my alone time with the Lord, I try to start off the prayer with just thanksgiving. What is God doing? I did not always do that. My prayers usually were, please God, please, give me help. And now I'm trying to just start the conversation with thank you, with gratitude. Here's what's going on that's so good that I'm grateful for. Then get into, here's what I'm concerned about. I'd like you to answer this prayer. I'd like you to help in this relationship. And then I try to end the prayer actually believing that He will give me exactly what I need. It doesn't mean He's going to answer how I want, but He's going to answer in the way that is best. And I need to practice my faith and believe it, that He is going to give me whatever I need to, He's going to answer the prayers according to His will, and that brings me joy. So I end up my prayers, no matter how much I get into prayer, like, oh man, I'm concerned about this. By the end of my prayer, I'm practicing my faith in Him, saying, okay, thank you, God, for what you are going to do. And I believe it, like He's going to do what is right.
Can you give examples of times when you've been a note taker or a learner or a theorist or a nodder, agreeer, and how is there more joy in the doing?
So I think we've all been guilty of being all of those things at different times. And I want to say it is okay for you to be some of those things some of those times, because God hasn't gifted everyone to be a mouth or an ear or an eye in the church. We all have our different skill sets that He's given us to use. And so there are times when you might be in a setting where it's the mouths that are being equipped and you're not a mouth. And so you do find yourself just kind of like nodding. That's true. That's just not me. And I can't really use it for this specific thing. Like, for instance, if I went to a seminar about how to fix your car's engine, I would do a lot of nodding, because I don't trust myself with mechanics. I'm going to take it to someone I trust and who has studied and knows what they're doing. So if I was in some kind of seminar like that, I would do a lot of like, I believe what you're saying is probably true. I have no idea, but I don't plan to actually implement it, right? But what is important is in the areas of our lives where we really do want to grow and we do want to see progress, those are the areas where we have to get past just the nodding stage and know that we're going to be implementing what we're hearing right now. And I've noticed with students, when I teach students, when they know that they actually have to do what I'm telling them, they listen better, because they know that in just a few moments, they have to actually practice what I'm telling them. But when students think that they're not going to do anything that I'm saying, they just sit there and they'll nod. And then if you tell them to do it, they'll be like, oh, can you say it again? Why? Because they weren't listening the first time. Not really, not with the intent of doing, right? So in areas of your life where you want to progress, you got to have that active mindset of, okay, I'm going to do what I'm hearing. I will do it, all right? And then that kind of helps you to imagine you doing it. And then that gets you closer to actually doing it.
So there's a whole attitude, a whole posture there's a whole doing attitude. So the note taking isn't the bad thing. It's when we're cowardly about it, we don't move forward.
If it's like you said, our attitude in the note taking, how we approach note taking. If we're just doing it to please the teacher, we're doing it because someone said you should be taking notes, okay, right? But if you're like, I really do want to improve, I really do want to grow, and I want to see progress, then I better be taking the notes down that will help me to progress, right? So I'm not taking notes just for the sake of notes. I'm actually writing things down that I know, oh, that was good. That will help me in the future. Oh, I could use that in a future sermon. Or I could use that when I'm teaching my kids. Or I could use that when I'm talking to my wife. Or I could use that when I'm talking to whoever it is that came to mind. So it is your attitude in the note taking that prepares you for activity.
Interesting. Yeah, because connecting note taking with action seems like it's an obvious thing, but I think sometimes as when I'm thinking about the mind of a churchgoer and even myself, like I think that going to church is like doing the thing. Like taking the notes is the thing, so to speak. And it's not really. How would you help someone like me or someone who thinks like that to shift their mindset?
I would just say it's the beginning of the journey. It is not the destination. So we get into trouble when we mistake the journey for the destination. Like I did the note taking. That's it. I'm good. And it's like, no, that was just the launching pad. Now you're supposed to go do something with those notes. You're supposed to actually follow through with that. My watercolor mentor just said today in a meeting, there are some things she can't teach, even in a workshop, one-on-one workshop. The only way you'll learn it is in the doing, in actually getting the paintbrush, getting the paint, getting the water, and experiencing it for yourself. And I was thinking about how the Bible says, taste and see how the Lord is good. Like there's this invitation of not just listening, but eventually actually tasting, consuming, doing. And it's in the doing that you actually get to taste. Like you can stare at the menu all you want and you won't get the experience of taste. But in the doing, when you grab the fruit, and it's so funny I'm saying fruit because that was usually bad connotations, like just eat the fruit. But it's in the eating of the fruit, you find out if the fruit is good or bad, right? So the devil's like, yeah, take the fruit. You'll see if it's good or bad, right? But God goes, but take this fruit and see if it's good or bad, right? And so there is this invitation of do and then experience. And you can't get the experience without the doing. You just can't. Like there's so many fruits that I don't know how they taste because I haven't actually tasted them. So I just can't. I can't know until I actually bite into them and see what they taste like.
Welcome to Taste and See, where Caleb tries mystery fruits blindfolded. Can he guess what he's eating using only taste?
Am I going in the right direction?
Let's find out.
Oh, I've got one.
Mysterious and moody, this fruit's got sweet depth with a sneaky tart twist.
Tastes familiar, but I don't. Oh, a plum.
Plum, that's right.
All right. Okay, there's one.
Crisp, calm, and quietly sweet. It is the introvert of the fruit world.
Is it a plum?
No, it is not a plum.
No, not a plum. Pear.
It's a pear.
All right, cool.
Pear, yep.
Okay, something. Okay.
A citrus classic. Sweet, juicy, flavorful.
Oh my goodness, what the heck? Orange, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Orange.
It's sweet, it's smooth, and it comes with its own carrying case.
Banana. Like you don't really know what something tastes like until you try it. So you can stare at the menu all day long, but until you actually try it, you have no idea. So I was able to identify all of the fruit because I have tasted it in the past. And I'm grateful you didn't make me eat something crazy.
Cue the plot twist and meet the mysterious, wrinkled ball of flavor you never saw coming.
Oh no.
On the outside, it looks like a dried up raisin with trust issues.
Okay.
On the inside, it's an explosion of tropical tang that punches above its weight.
Here's how you eat a passion fruit. 1. Choose a ripe fruit. It should be wrinkled and heavy for its size. 2. Cut it open. Slice the passion fruit in half. 3. Scoop out the pulp. Use a spoon to scoop out the juicy pulp with the seeds. 4. Eat it. You can eat the pulp directly or add it to smoothies, yogurt, or desserts. The seeds are edible and crunchy, adding a unique texture to the fruit.
Very interesting. Okay. All right. Not bad. It looks like egg yolk, but it tastes nothing like egg yolk. He did say you can eat the seeds, right?
Pretty sure. What's your first impression of it?
It's good. Different, but very good. Yeah, if you had me try this blindfolded, I'd have no idea what this is. Was this really passion fruit?
Yep.
Or was this a dinosaur egg? If you asked me to tell you what that tasted like before I had it, I would have never guessed. There's no way, because it looks like egg yolk. They look like the seeds of a watermelon. I had to experience it before I could actually really understand it. If I am sick on Sunday, you're gonna have to fill in for me now.
I did look at it in the goop on the inside and I was like,
Yeah, like,
I probably should try this first.
did you try it?
No, I did not.
Oh no.
I was like, we'll see how things go.
So taste and see, because the joy is in the doing.
When it comes to watercolor, you can watch tutorial after tutorial, but one of my watercolor mentor says watch one video and then do it. Watch one video and then do it. That is how you actually grow and develop. You have to consume and then use what you've consumed.
So you mentioned your watercolor mentor, and she says to watch one and then do it. Watch one and then do it. How can this make progress manageable?
There's even some of her modules where she'll say, after 5 minutes, stop and do it. Like, because sometimes there are some videos, YouTube videos, podcasts, where there's like 30 things you want to do. And if you just watch it from beginning to end, you'll forget like half of them. So it is sometimes a good idea to just like listen. And then you're like, okay, I want to try that. Okay, stop right now. Stop the podcast, stop the YouTube video. Go ahead and go try that right now. It might be something that just takes like a few minutes. Then come back and listen. You know, that's one way to keep things bite-sized so you don't get overwhelmed. Like, I think a lot of people are like me where you're like, okay, I want to try this, and they're telling me to do this, and now this, and this, and now you're carrying all this weight, and you're like, I can't even remember everything, and then it gets overwhelming, and now it's no fun. So, but bite-sized chunks, like, okay, I can do that right now. Let me try that right now. All right, I can try that. Let's do that. And it just helps things that are big to become bite-sized and doable.
How do you know if you're watching to understand versus watching to avoid doing?
Again, it goes into your whole attitude and approach to taking notes and watching. Like, why are you even sitting in front of the screen to watch to begin with? Is it for entertainment purposes? If so, then you really don't have any plans of taking action. And sometimes that is fine. Like, we all need time to get away and watch a movie that we enjoy where we have no plans of doing anything regarding to that movie. And that's okay. But we don't want to get in the rut of just consuming things and never doing anything about what we're consuming, when it comes to learning things. Like, we all have this short life and short time to decide what we want to do with our lives. What do you want to do with your life? Get good at whatever you want to do, right? There's a proverb that says, do you see a man who excels in his ways? He will be used by kings. Like, if you can excel in whatever gift God's given you, like, the world is yours, you know, but it's not if all you do is learn and take notes. You have to implement those notes. You have to like do it. You have to put in the reps. You cannot get the muscles without putting in the reps. You actually have to stop and do the work.
Have you ever gone to an exam that you did not prepare for and felt panic? It is not a fun feeling. Like, it's usually at that moment that you go, maybe I should have been studying. Maybe I should have done the homework. And that shows the blessing of actually doing what you're supposed to do at the time you're supposed to do it. When we actually do what we're supposed to do, there is a blessing. Anxiety is reduced and confidence is gained.
Is anxiety reduced and confidence gained by doing? You said it is. Anxiety seems like it goes up quite a bit too.
Yeah, it's the same way when you've neglected cleaning your room for a while. When you start to clean your room, it gets way messier before it gets better. In fact, about 5 minutes into trying to clean your room and it's looking worse, your anxiety might start to go up. Like, this is a lot, you know. But you kind of have to get through that mess to get to the other side, which is cleaner. And so it really does build confidence, but you do have to have persistence. You can't just be like, well, I tried for 5 minutes to clean my room and it's just looking worse. And it's like, yeah, that was 5 minutes. Like, let's put in at least an hour. Let's put in 2 hours. All right. Then we'll talk and see. And then at the end of 2 hours, you're going to be like, I am liking how this looks. What is that? That's confidence gained. Right. But you don't get confidence gained by just dabbling a little bit and then, oh, the water's too cold. You know, like, hold on, be patient. Endure a little bit, and then you'll have fun.
Now, what we want is we get these ideas, and we want the success. We want the results of those ideas. And our flesh wants to be cool all the way to getting the results. We don't want to make mistakes. We don't want to look bad. But that is not how life works. We have the idea, we want the results, but in order to get from idea to our goal, we actually have to go through the valley of cringe. We have to go through the valley of cringe, and we don't like it. The flesh does not like it. We do not like to embarrass ourselves. We don't like to not be good. But the truth is, to get the results and goals that you want, you have to be willing to do, and when you do, you will definitely be in the cringe stage. Because when you start, you are not good.
Can you talk about the valley of cringe? And maybe what is cringe and how is it necessary for the journey?
I would define cringe as knowing that you're not where you want to be yet. Knowing that you're not as good as you will be. Knowing that people might look at you and laugh because you're not good yet. And so cringe is that I don't really want people to see me at this stage yet, but you got to do that stage. Because if you want them to see you at the later stage, you have to do the early steps first. Before you can run, you have to crawl. But it's embarrassing and everyone's watching. Yeah, but that's the necessary step. No baby has ever gone from just rolling over to running. And if so, they're demon possessed. So there is the cringe stage that has to happen in everything. That's how learning works. When you're learning a language, you're really bad at it at first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I think I've just hanging out with the worship team and people get more comfortable singing. They get more comfortable playing.
There's quite a few on the worship team when they first started. You could sense they were nervous. But then week after week, they put in the reps. And then now you can't even tell. Now they might still have some anxiety and feel certain things, but they don't show it anymore, you know. And so it's pretty cool to see their growth.
Can you think of a time where you had to overcome some cringe?
Oh, watercolors. Just 2 years ago, I started watercolors. I avoided it my whole life because a teacher said, "You can't control it. It's frustrating. Just avoid it." And I was like, "Okay." And then a few years ago, an artist said, if you can learn watercolors, you can learn anything. She said, if you can master watercolor, you can master anything. And I'm like, well, I want to get better as an artist. And if mastering watercolors makes me better in all the other mediums, then challenge accepted. But I have to say, those first 6 months were not fun. The only thing that kept me going was the fact I knew that it was going to be a challenge. So I didn't expect to just learn it overnight and be good at it. Like there was many times where I'm painting something and I'm like, if I just put down this brush and got out my pencils that I'm familiar with and I'm good with, I could knock out this image and it would look like a photograph. But I can't. I'm trying to master watercolor. So I had to go through the cringe stage. There were times where I'd post things and I'm like, that's not my best, but I had to post it. And then people are looking at stuff that's not my best, but I got to post it. I got to show them my progress.
I could never.
But now, by posting where I was and where I am now, 2 years later, I can inspire people because now people can be like, wait, you did that and you started there? Like, that's pretty bad. I'm pretty sure I could do that. It's like, yeah, you could do that. You could also do this if you go through the cringe stage. Put in the reps. You can get over here too.
So part of that mindset is just is saying to yourself, this is going to be a challenge. Otherwise, there's not going to be any growth.
So yesterday I woke up at around 7 in the morning and I just got hit with a flood of ideas for today's message, and I wrote them down in my journal. And this is one of the quotes in my journal that I wrote yesterday, 7 in the morning. We won't always be able to call mom and dad, play basketball with siblings, go for a run, get up without aches and pains. Windows of opportunities close all the time, but his mercies are new every morning. Seize the day. At 1 p.m., I got a phone call from Alan. Alan, who plays the bass usually over here, long hair. His wife, Liz, usually is in the front. And when we're praising God, she's usually, her hands are up like this and she's in it and she's singing. And sometimes the songs have clapping and she's just clapping and she's pouring her heart out. That's Liz. Like, it is a joy to watch her worship the Lord, because she is in so much, like, she has so much joy, right? So he calls me and he's crying. He says, she's gone. So I said, do you want me to come over there? He's like, yes. And so I went over there and we waited for people from the mortuary to come over and pick up her body. And I asked them, was she diagnosed with something? Did you see this coming? He says, no. She was just sick last night, and I checked on her, and she was not breathing. And so it was sudden. It was not expected. And so we're sitting there, and like, what do you do? I'm like asking God for help to just be a comfort to him, and all I could basically be was just there. That's it. So this is his second time being married, and his wife passing away before him. And so he's telling me about that. And after his first wife passed away, he wrote a song. And he said, this song is relevant for right now. And so he got out his iPad and he played this song. He writes music. And he played this song. And the first lyrics in this song is this: I never took you to Paris. And he was talking about his first wife. Never took you to Paris. And then he talks about how, well, the things he's going to miss about her. And then in the chorus, he says, so go to Paris. Do it. What are your dreams? What is God's will for your life? What is something you know God wants you to do, you've been putting up? Do it. Call that person, talk to that person, forgive that person. Even if they won't forgive you, you forgive them. Do what is in your court, what you actually have control over. But that's the message, is go to Paris, and like metaphorically, like I'm not, next Sunday there's like 5 people here. I'm like, where are they? But do what you can do with your loved ones while they're around and while you're around. Tomorrow is not promised. Like we don't know when the Lord will take us.
When I was sitting next to Alan and he was playing the song, and I hear the very opening words of I never took you to Paris, like I was like, oh man, this is already deep, especially since his wife literally just died like an hour ago. And it made me think of my own family, and now I called Melissa on the way home, and I'm like, you're not someone who's always saying, like, we should go travel and do that. And neither am I. I'm never like, we should go to Norway. We should go. Like, I'm not. I'm just. My parents didn't do that, so they didn't wake up that idea. I'm sure if they did, I would be more like that, but I'm just not. But I'm like, what do you want to do? And because Liz was so, like, we thought healthy, and we didn't know she was going to go so quickly. And so I asked her, I was like, where's your Paris? You know, because after he says, I never took you to Paris, and then he talks about all these things he's going to miss about his wife. How the breeze like went through her hair, and just all these like little intimate moments that he had with her. And then he gets to the chorus, and he's like, so go to Paris. And I was like, oh, that's so good. It's like, and it's basically a call to like, put it all out there. Like, don't have regrets of, oh, I wish I took my wife here or did this with my kids. Like, it's a call to, all right, stop putting out excuses and start doing, so that you don't have those regrets later of like, oh man. And I think we all have those. We all have some things where we're like, maybe I should have spent a little bit more time with so-and-so and did some more stuff with them. And so it's just a call to like encourage people, do it. Like, do it while you have the time. And I didn't make that up. Like, there's Bible passages that say, do it while it's today. Like, do it while you have today. And so the one concern I had in the sermon was people feeling maybe fear-driven to do something or guilt-tripped to do something, and that's not how I operate. Like, I want to do things because I actually love the person. I want to do it out of love. And I hope that came across. I don't want people to do things just because they're like, oh, I'm afraid I might die and I might go to heaven or hell. I don't know where, I better do some things I'm like, no, we already covered in a sermon a while ago that you do nothing for your salvation. You just receive it. You don't earn it. So this has nothing to do with, have you done enough good things to get to heaven? No, this is about making the most of the short life we have. Like, this is a gift. Right now, this is a gift. Life is a gift. What are we doing with it? Like, let's do something good with it. I think one of the best ways to show our love back to God is to use our life in a way where we really have loved deeply the people that He surrounded us with. We really have depended on Him, as we've tried to follow Him and His will. Like, we've leaned in with all of our heart. I don't want to get to the end and see all the potential that I threw away because I was scared. I want Him to be proud. If God is proud, I'll be proud of myself. So
go to Paris.
Yeah,